Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Catch Ups. It's Monday, and don't we love a Monday? Because now we get to rip into the week. We get to get out there and start to dominate all those goals and whatever we're looking to achieve. I hope you all had an awesome weekend. I did. I had a great weekend and spent a little bit of time doing some prep work for the Monopoly Summit that we have coming up. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Spend some time in the garden. I actually love mowing the lawns, put my headphones on, get out there and mow the lawns. And probably one of the coolest things I'm doing at the moment is doing a bit of woodworking skills. Well, very basic woodworking skills, but my grandfather built me a toy box many years ago, and I'm restoring it back for my kids at the moment. And that was quite fun to get out there and work through that. Good morning. Good to hear from you, Tim. Thanks for jumping in today. Guys, today what I'm going to be discussing with you is the concept of decision making. This has come off the bat of, I actually had a couple other topics that I wanted to talk about today, but then today I've had to look at this concept for myself. The concept of decision making is such an important element when it comes to being a business owner and being an investor. But then at the same time, decision making is something that we all do every single day of our life. And I find it interesting that decision making is only really something that we consider when it's a tricky decision. Because often we don't consider that everything that we do is making a decision. Wake up in the morning, do I get out of bed or do I lie here for another 20 minutes? Do I pick up my phone and check out Facebook, or do I get up and go for a run? All these sort of concepts are decisions that we're making on a daily basis. And I think it's important that when we start to understand our personality and how we are as either an investor in our everyday life, as an employee, as an employer, it's important that we understand how we like to process and make decisions. And it's something as you go through and develop, I believe, as a businessman, businesswoman, investor, you develop these skills. One of the things I think that's really important when making a decision is when it's some of those bigger decisions, is to really incorporate those trusted people around you, your trusted advisors. When it comes to for example, getting out there and investing in a property. And it may be that you're looking at the property and there's a couple of things that are a little bit scary. Maybe, I don't know, let's say that it's got some sunken piles, for example. And at the same time, there is potentially some scrim on the wall. So you talk to your different advisors, and you talk to your mortgage broker, and they go, we might be able to get you the money, but it's going to be a third tier lender. You're going to be paying a high interest rate. You go, okay. Well, they're obviously not that keen on it. You talk to the builder, and they're like, yeah, no stress, we can fix that piles, no stress, and we'll reline it. No, not a problem. You talk to the insurance company, like, no, we're not going to insure it. You're going to have a look at another insurance policy first before we can jump across. So you start to drag in all these people, and then you talk to your lawyer, your solicitor, and say, for example, and they go, no, you shouldn't be jumping into this transaction. There's no way you should be taking on a sunken pile. And you go, okay, well, I've taken on board all the advice from all my trusted advisors, and then I need to make the decision. And at the end of the day, you need to understand that everybody's input into the situation is going to come from a different standpoint. The solicitor's job is to keep you safe. The builder understands the issue and is giving you a logical concept into whether you should be making that decision or not. So then it comes down to you as the investor to make the decision whether you should go through with it or not. And this is where you want to be talking to someone who has a holistic approach or a full approach to the whole concept to be able to then jump in and make decisions. So, that's where someone who, like a mentor or someone who has been there, done a transaction that potentially has that issue, could be someone to talk to. And then at the end of the day, you need to make sure that the investment works for you. Kind of went on a bit of a tangent there, but at the end of the day, the decision making is going to come down to, for me, a couple of elements. It's going to come down to the logic of it and the emotion of it. logically, does it make sense to go down the track of, purchasing that property, changing the way that business is in operating, changing the dates of an event because there's a world pandemic that suddenly hits. Logic needs to be one of the elements, and the other one is the emotion side. When you're making your decision, how does it feel? And the different personality types will respond differently to this as well. So when you've got a personality type that is very much a detailed oriented person, they're just going to purely go on logic, and they're going to go, well, how it feels is irrelevant. But at the end of the day, you need to trust your gut feeling when you're making these decisions as well. For me, the way that I look at it is I want to, first of all, trust my gut, because at the end of the day, I'm an emotional decision maker, the way that my personality is built. But I want to gather information from everybody around me. So when it comes to make a decision, I will grab information from everywhere I can. I will talk to my mum, who's probably on this coffee catch-up. I can pretty much guarantee that most coffee catch-ups mum jumps on. I'll talk to mum about it, and she'll give me her opinion. And then I'll grab an opinion from my business mentor. I'll grab opinion from, Kyron, for example, or Natalia, or Nimesh, Lawrence, or the people amongst our team, Belinda. You talk to all these different people amongst your community to then, at the end of the day, realize whether that decision is a logical one and does it feel right. I hope that makes sense. A quote that I really want to check out then, it's a quote that some of our students would have heard before, that successful people make decisions based on where they want to be. Successful people make decisions based on where they want to be. This is a quote that really stands out for me, because at the end of the day, when you're making a decision to do something, whether it is, do I buy this house? Does this house or property investment get you to where you want to be? Or are you looking at it and going, okay, well, me investing in this property creates some uncertainty and maybe has a bit of a negative stigma around it. But at the end of the day, is it going to drive me to where I want to be? So coming back to the personalities thing, I've kind of touched on it and then jumped away. There's really 4 main personality types that will jump in to how they make the decisions. You've got your first one, which is your driver personality, and they're going to jump in there and make a decision pretty damn quickly, because they need to be the first one to make a decision. It's really important that they, they get the win, they get that decision made, and they will run with that decision, and they'll make sure they're not really going to take on the emotion side of it too much. So, consider that when you are that driver, that maybe you want to listen to a few more of your advisors. You have your analytical one, which I mentioned before, which is very much going to be based around the details. They're going to want to know, okay, well, that pile might be sunken in the corner of that property. How many degrees is the floor off in terms of level by that sunken pile? They'll want to know every single decision. And the tip for them is going to be make a decision to make a decision. And touch on that in a minute. You've then got the amiable that are all about the emotional side of it. And then they need to ensure that they take the logical into it. And yes, you will take the amiable, which is me, will take advice from everybody. But at the end of the day, you need to make the decision, and you don't make the decision based on, well, is that going to annoy this person or is that going to annoy this person? What is the best decision going to be based for your best outcome? And the last one is the social person, the person that's going to make the decision based on, is it going to be fun? Again, you really want to make sure that you're looking at the logical side of everything and gathering all the information. Let me come back to my point I made before. Make a decision to make a decision. This was actually something that came to me probably around about 6 months ago. And I'm going to give credit to him. Kyron was the one who gave me the concept, and it's something that I've run with, and I teach it now to many of my students or people that I work with. Make a decision to make a decision. What this means is that at the end of the day, if there is a decision to be made and you have to gather information, you have to talk to potential advisors, set a time and a date that you will make a decision by. And at that moment is when you will make the decision. And no matter what the decision is, if it ends up being the wrong decision, at least the decision's made, and you can then go down that route and do your utmost to create the best from that situation. But uncertainty is not going to be your friend. Uncertainty is just going to end up causing you to go around in circles and potentially, probably miss out on the potential that you could achieve. When it comes to property, we often see people in this situation because of the over-analysis, the way that people, analysis paralysis by analysis. Property has so many elements to it, and then people are going, okay, well, I need to wait until property market drops. I've heard a few people that over the last 7 years, 8 years, have been waiting to buy property because the property values are going to drop. That indecision and waiting to time the market has probably cost them a few hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, because of the market moving. And to be fair, if you're basing your investment decision on trying to time the market, you are not an educated investor. You should be buying on its current value. You should be buying on its current situation. One of the things that we always say at Wealth Mentor is that buy property as though it never goes up in value. And a lot of people, that concept kind of doesn't make sense, because you go, okay, well, how do you make your money in property? Well, you make your money through cash flow, and you make your money through making money in the buy and adding equity to the property. If you can take those concepts on board, you're certainly going to make sure that you start to buy well. So I hope that's kind of giving you a few elements as to how I guess I go through my decision-making process. I'll make sure I gather information from everybody. I'll make a decision as to when I'm going to make a decision. And then at the end of the day, you make the decision, you run with it, and you put your utmost into it so that you can try and achieve the best out of it and make sure that you keep smashing those goals. Now, in terms of property, I have to give a shout out because we do have the Monopoly Summit coming up. And I'm really excited about the Monopoly Summit, because what we're doing is we're taking a board game and we're saying, okay, how can we take a board game and make it into real life? How can we take the concept of a monopoly and start to live the idea of running a monopoly in our real life? Now, there's going to be a couple of great speakers alongside me, joining me on this one, doing some great deals in the current markets. Therese, Tim, and Belinda. You'll definitely want to hear from them. I've identified the 5 key areas to take the monopoly game and I guess bring it to the real life. So I look forward to being able to share those with you guys. The link for the summit is going to be in the chat. It's also in a lot of our bios as well. So make sure you jump on and join us at the Monopoly Summit. It's going to be a lot of fun and a great chance to continue to learn. Because at the end of the day, we want to keep educating ourselves. We want to keep growing. We want to keep getting stronger and keep becoming the best version of ourselves. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's coffee catch up. Nice quick one. I spoke so much I didn't even have a sip of my coffee, so I'm going to have a sip now. Any questions, you can fire them through while I have a sip of my coffee, and enjoy. Awesome. So no questions coming out, but please feel free to drop questions in the chat. I do get notifications if any questions do come up. And again, if you guys would like to hear any topics that you would like me to talk on, it's always great to jump on here and have a chat to you guys. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow again. Have a great Monday. Remember, make a decision to make a decision, and always stay awesome. See you, everyone.